Item number SCP-150. Classified as Getter. 150 is an obligate parasite that resembles the ton-eating louse, but is adapted to form conjunctive symbiotic relationships with humans for a period of its lifespan. Upon contact with a human subject, 150 embeds itself deeply in the flesh of its host. Over the course of approximately 7 days, the parasite will burrow into the host and affect numerous psychological alterations. The most glaring alteration is the gradual conversion of the limb nearest the infection site into a chitinous appendage. As 150 consumes the host's flesh, it excretes tissue that replaces and augments the functionality of the host's limb without causing transplant rejection. It is suspected that 150 is able to secrete anesthetic and immunosuppressant substances to prevent the host's body from responding to the change. Furthermore, the nervous tissue excreted by 150 is able to interface with the host's nervous system. By the time the process is complete, the host will be able to control the affected limb with no loss in mobility, and often with improved strength, reflexes, and resilience. For a period of 1 to 2 weeks, 150 will reproduce, feeding on nutrients from and depositing eggs into assimilated blood vessels. The eggs are deposited throughout the human body via the bloodstream, while the vast majority of them die off. Enough survive to begin colonizing and altering the rest of the host's body. Though subjects report discomfort and occasional loss of motor control during this process, they often will not recognize the cause of said discomfort. It is still unclear why the offspring do not compete with each other for space or resources, nor how the assimilation process leaves the body's cell, signaling mechanisms and processes unaffected. 150 reproduces during this assimilation process. As the lungs are assimilated, more eggs are produced and spread by the patient's coughing. Although as many as 10,000 eggs may be produced during this time, it is estimated that only 1% of them find their way into another host, of which 1% survive the host's immune response and implant successfully. Although 150 inevitably results in the assimilation and alteration of the central nervous system, including the spinal cord and brain, the host's consciousness and behavior are seemingly unaffected. Interviews with subjects infected by 150 have yielded little information, as infected subjects unaware of 150 claim to sense no changes or improvement in certain senses and faculties. While subjects aware of the infection are able to pinpoint the source of the change, they exhibit little to no negative feelings and often express positivity toward Also recorded on file is a transcript of an exploratory leuconotomy and nervous tissue transformation experiment. 2 D-class subjects were infected with 150 and allowed to progress through all stages of the infection. In order to examine the full effect of the infection, exploratory neurosurgeries were performed on both subjects. The first subject was euthanized. His nervous tissue was found to have been entirely replaced by smaller instances of 150. The instances comprising his brain matter were extracted and stored for experimentation on the other subject. The following decompressive craniotomy and leuconotomy were performed by Dr. Halen's son, Dr. Wendy Robin, and Dr. Alex Harlow. The full transcript is as follows. Subject D is partially anesthetized to numb her during the initial drilling of the skull. The process is uneventful, though Harlow reports expecting less resistance from the skull while drilling into and cutting a flap from it. Upon removing the flap of bone and exposing the dura mater, numerous smaller instances of 150 are observed lying in the cranial cavity where the brain should be. Harlow reports this to Robin, who alerts Son to begin the interview process, while she marks off areas of Subject D's brain on a mapping projection. Dr. Son, what is your name? Subject D, Mako. Dr. Son, name something to sit in. Subject D, chair. Dr. Son, what is the color of grass? Subject D, green. Dr. Son, what is 1 plus 1? Subject D pauses for a moment. 2. Dr. Robin, we have marked off the approximate location of the Wernicke's area. Dr. Harlow, thank you, Doctor. Son, I will now extract some of the specimen from this area. Dr. Harlow carefully makes an incision into the dura mater and extracts some of the instances from the area using forceps. He places each instance into a glass vial, corks it, and places it on a nearby stand. Each instance appears to stir to life and begin wriggling only upon being removed. This process takes approximately 10 minutes, during which time Son repeatedly asks the D-class subject the same questions. Once Harlow has extracted approximately 100 instances, he gestures for Son to continue. Dr. Son, name something to sit in. Subject D, seat. Dr. Son, what is the color of grass? Subject D, green. Dr. Son, what is 1 plus 1? Subject D, 2. Dr. Son, note for the record that Subject D's responses have been slightly slowed. This indicates that the instances within her cranial cavity are indeed acting as neuron analogs, though it is unclear as to how many neurons each instance is equivalent to. Dr. Harlow, I am placing a sample of neural tissue acquired from the previous Class D subject into this one. The instances from the other subject have been tagged with a radioactive luminescent dye to distinguish them for extraction later. Dr. Son, name something to sit in. Subject D, Son, what is 1 plus 1? Subject D, 2. Dr. Son, what is 10 times 11? Subject D, 111. Dr. Son. Subject D's responses have returned to normal speed. This suggests that it is possible for 150 nervous tissue to be swapped freely between host individuals without rejection. We will now begin the final procedure. Subject D, you will be given a full general anesthetic. Subject D is subjected to general anesthetic, which takes several seconds to begin. Dr. Son, the patient is now under full anesthesia. Dr. Harlow, you may begin the process of tissue extraction. For this final procedure, we will be attempting to completely replace the brain tissue of this subject with that of the previous. Before, during the exploration of the previous subject's cranial cavity, Dr. Harlow and I observed that the instances connecting his brain matter to his spinal matter were not secured in any way, and in fact seemed to be switching positions with other instances in the brain. We will be seeing how far this compatibility extends. There is silence for the next hour as Doctors Harlow, Son, and Robin remove the top of the subject's skull and begin extracting her brain matter into a large glass container. Dr. Son, extraction complete. The subject's brain matter has been successfully removed. Dr. Harlow is now placing the other D-class subject's brain matter into this exposed cranial cavity. Silence for several minutes. Dr. Robin, heart rate steady. We have a pulse and breathing. Give it another minute. Alright, I'm going to wake her up. There is a pause as Dr. Robin reduces the anesthesia and the subject awakens. Dr. Son, what is your name? Subject D, Michael. Dr. Harlow, faintly heard in the background. Jesus. Dr. Son, name something to sit in. Subject D, beanbags. Dr. Son, what is the color of grass? Subject D, green. Dr. Son, what is 1 plus 1? Quiet sloshing can be detected by the microphone. Dr. Robin, hey, son. Subject D, 2. Dr. Robin, son, look. The D-class subject's brain is shown to move of its own accord, subtly moving back and forth. Dr. Harlow, well, that's new. Dr. Son, do you feel any pain anywhere in your body? Subject D, my chest is kind of heavy. Feels just the same otherwise. Dr. Son, good to hear. Now what is Subject D? Hey, I usually feel pretty energetic even before surgeries, but I'm kind of tired right now. Lately, I've been exercising before I sleep, but since I can't hear, is it okay if I can just rest a little bit? Like 3-5 minutes. I can do that here if it's okay. A small portion of the top of the subject's brain parts before making a gurgling sound. After the portion closes, sections of Subject D's brain retracts into itself rapidly. Subject D's eyes close. Dr. Son, that doesn't seem good. Dr. Robin steps away from the operation, making retching sounds as she leaves the room. Dr. Harlow, Subject D, Michael, are you okay? subject yawns. Yeah, I'm fine. Why do you ask? The transcript ends here. And with that, we will conclude this file at current date with the special containment procedures. 150 patients kept for study should be contained in Level 3 biohazard containment cells, with no more than 1 instance per cell. Cultures of 150 are contained in vacuum-sealed glass flasks in the Site-42 Infectious Materials Lab. Standard pathogen handling procedures should be followed at all times. Any instances of 150 found outside of containment are to be incinerated. And so, this file is concluded. And we will now move on to our second, much briefer file to end today's audio. Item number SCP-151, classified as Euclid. 151 is a 1 meter by 1.3 meter oil painting, apparently from the perspective of someone underwater. A subject who views the painting exhibits no initial effects. However, over a period of 24 hours, the subject's breathing becomes increasingly labored, culminating in the death of the subject. Autopsies reveal that subject's lungs have filled with seawater. Attempts to halt the drowning process by medical intervention have proven successful in prolonging the life of the subject, but have not stopped nor reversed the condition. The painting is not signed, but several names are written on the back. 151 was found in an antique shop after the Foundation began investigating a series of unexplained drowning deaths. The Foundation dispatched a team of plainclothes agents after being informed of the nature of the water in the victims' lungs, and that the victims had all been discovered on dry land. The agents discovered that the names written